Hey everybody, it's Jackie again. Welcome back. I have today for you another book review. This is the other book review that I promised from my April TBR, and that is Finding Me by Michelle Knight, A Decade of Darkness, A Life Reclaimed, a memoir of the Cleveland kidnappings. A little prior background to this novel. I heard about this book through a film that I watched. I thought it was called Finding Me, but it's actually not. It was called The Cleveland Abductions. A friend of mine was recommended it to her by a coworker or something along that lines, and she wanted to watch it. So she said, "Hey Jackie, why don't you come over? We'll watch a movie with me." I said, "Fine, sure." When she told me it was based off a true story, I was sitting there watching it, and I'm looking at the years it's taking place. I'm like, I don't remember hearing anything about this at all. So I looked up online and found the real story and just became obsessed with it. The movie pissed me off, just the stuff that happened in it. But then I found out that Michelle Knight had written this book, and so my friend immediately bought it that day. She read it a few days later, and then she handed it off to another friend, and then she finally gave it to me to read. And I'm here to tell you, this book, I love this book. I love it for so many reasons. And I also hate this book because it pisses me off to no end. In August of 2002, Michelle Knight was going to her DCF court appearing to get back her son, who had been taken away, I believe, a year prior. She did not have a ride. When she called the agency to say she didn't have a ride anymore, they said, "Well, you should have taken us up on the offer to drive you." And she said, "Well, I originally had a ride, but they backed out on me." So she's walking. Okay, she's walking. Has no idea where she's going, but she's walking. She stops in to ask for directions, and she sees a guy that kind of knows her. She actually knows his daughter. She's friends with his daughter. So what person would not think that this is a safe idea to do? My lighting's really crazy, guys. Sorry. But she gets in the car, and then he kind of just hem-haws around and takes her to his house and then proceeds to kidnap her for the next 11 years. 11 years. August of 2002, I was entering my sophomore year in high school. I couldn't even legally drive. And she was just starting hell. For the next 11 years, she experienced so many tortures, it's unthinkable. She suffered 5 forced abortions, one from the heavy end of a hand weight being beaten across her stomach, and her last one was being thrown down a flight of stairs and kicked so hard she could never reproduce again. Not only did she suffer that, she was starved, she was raped repeatedly multiple times a day. When 2 more girls were kidnapped a year later, one of them was allowed to bear a child, and she was forced to help deliver it. But she had to abort hers. Some of her abortions were caused by beatings, some of them were caused by starvings. When she went into captivity, she was 100 and something, like 39 pounds. When she was released, she was under 84 pounds. And this woman's very short based off the description. She's very short. I've seen some interviews with her. She's a very, very tiny girl. I don't think she even reaches 5 foot. I think maybe she's like 4'9", max. And this guy, this Ariel Castor, she doesn't even call him by his name. She calls him the dude, which I think is fitting because he doesn't deserve to have a fucking name. Piece of shit. He's so fucking crazy. He verbally abuses her. He physically abuses her. He berates her, makes her feel like she's nothing. But at the whole time, while you're reading this book, there's this there's this underlying tone of strength that she's going to make it through, all because she wants to see her son again, whose name is Joey. And it's heart-wrenching. I just got done reading M. Guerra's The Consumer prior to reading this book, okay? Graphic, gory, depraved literature, but it's all fake. It was all fake. This shit actually happened. Okay, this actually happened. And she lived through it. I'm sitting here while reading this book thinking about the years that she was going on and on with it and living through this torture and hell. And I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, what was going on in 2002? I was a sophomore in high school. What was 2003? I was a junior in high school, and I got made fun of. And I thought that was bad. I didn't get asked to my junior prom. She didn't get to fucking go. Okay? Because why? She was chained to a wall in a fucking bedroom, forced to void her bowels and urine in a pot that he maybe emptied once a week, if that. Living in a place where roaches crawled on her and bedbugs bit her repeatedly. Also, her first year of captivity, she took one shower in a year. I take multiple showers a day. She didn't brush her teeth the entire year she was there. I'm surprised she still has teeth. Okay? She describes her first shower. She literally has so much semen, dirt, blood, saliva, excrement, anything disgusting that you could put on the human person that comes off the human body on her for a year worth. Her hair was so matted that she literally had to cut it off with manicure scissors that he just miraculously gave to her, that he just conveniently decided to give to her that day. She chopped off all her hair just to take a shower. And then when she took a shower, the water pouring off of her was so black, so dark, it was black. It's disgusting that this man put her through this. Okay? I have a freak out if I can't take a shower a day because I'm weird like that. But this, oh my God. And she survived this. And I'm sitting here as a junior in high school complaining that nobody asked me to junior prom, that no one asked me to senior prom, that I didn't get asked to dances, and I didn't have a boyfriend until I was 17. You know, no guys didn't know me. I thought that was the worst thing in the world. And here, literally in a state, two states over from me, this shit is going down. And I'm reading this book, and the more I read it, the smaller I feel. But I'm so happy to feel that small because I didn't have to go through this. And it's just, and the worst part is she didn't even get her justice. Because although in her interviews, I've seen enough of her interviews, I think she admits that she can, I think she said in the end of the book that she can never forgive him. She'll never forgive him, but she'll forgive him, but she'll never forget. He was charged with 937 counts of rape and 3 abductions, sentenced to a life in prison with 1,000 years, and the fucker didn't even last a fucking month because he offed himself in jail. And she said in an interview that she actually cried for him. That's how humble this woman is, and how forgiving of a person she is. It's amazing that this woman even lived through any of this. Through any of it. And the fact that she lived through it and she's stronger for it. This book is probably one of the most powerful books I've read all year so far. Because it just puts everything in perspective. Everything that I thought was bad and that I was living in my own hell. I got nothing to fucking complain about. Not a goddamn thing. because I don't know if I could have survived that. I don't think I could have survived the first 30 days of her being chained to a pole sitting in a basement where she wasn't allowed to walk for 30 fucking days, and that guy offed himself after 30 days in jail. The woman is one of the strongest women I've ever read about. And I've read a lot of women's histories where women have stood up against men for women's rights, have, fought for us gaining a better life. And here, this woman's whole life was taken away. 11 years taken from her. She didn't even know how to use an iPhone when she got out because she didn't even know they existed. Had no concept of what an iPhone was. She talks about this one story of her going onto a plane after she's escaped with her lawyer, and she's going to Disney World because Dr. Phil arranged it for her, or Disneyland. She's always wanted to go. She goes and she brings a tube of toothpaste, shampoo bottles, and if anyone's flown in the last few years, you all realize that you can't carry like liquids on a plane. And they said, we're going to have to check these. And she said, oh, I didn't know. And the TSA agent said, where have you been for the last 10 years? And her lawyer pops up and says, you don't want to know where she's been for the last 10 years because she's been chained to a fucking wall. Just the little nuances of stuff that's happened that she had no comprehension about. No comprehension. This woman is so strong. It's crazy. It's crazy how strong this woman is. Now, I know this really isn't a review of this book, but this book is her story. And her story is what's important. The way it's written, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's choppy. It doesn't matter if it even makes any sense. It's her story. It's what happened. And you can clearly tell in this book that she became stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger at the same time she was breaking down. To become strong and break down at the same time, it's crazy. It's crazy. I could not imagine this. I could not imagine. This would be Dante's 7th layer of hell for most people, and she survived it. And she's out there doing her thing now, And if I ever got a chance to meet her, I just want to shake her hand and say thank you. Thank you for being the person that she is and how strong she is. Because although she might have never stood up and spoke for women's rights this woman's a fucking hero. This woman is legitimately a hero for all women, just to show how strong of a sex we can be. The shit that we can put up with and we can make it through. She did it, which means anybody else can. And it's very humbling. It's very, very humbling. So I personally think everybody should read this book. Everybody should know what happened because this stuff is still going on. And she says in the book, if you see anything that looks funny, even if it's not, it turns out to be nothing, call it in anyway, because it could just be something like this. This house was in a suburbia, not the greatest neighborhood, but it was surrounded by other people, other houses. This guy had a family. His family showed up in the house. You have no idea what people were capable of. Obviously. I didn't think people were capable of surviving this, but look at her. She did. Along with 2 other women. And because of this, I'm actually picking up their book, and that's Amanda Berry and Gina DeJesus. Those are the other 2 girls. I'm picking up their book so I can read about their side of the story. But seriously, pick up this book. Go read it. It's definitely a life changer. It definitely is. So, Michelle Knight, if you ever watch YouTube or you see this, thank you for your story. Thank you for sharing it. I know I can't imagine what kind of hell it actually was. But thank you for telling us what's out there. And thank you for being as strong as you are. You are a role model and a hero for everyone. Thank you. That's my review of Michelle Knight's Finding Me. go pick it up. It's 5 out of 5 stars. Go pick it up, read it, but be warned, it will piss you off because this is real. This isn't made up. This isn't fiction. It's actually happened to someone. That's my review, guys. Thanks. I will see you again very, very soon, probably with a tag video. Hopefully I won't be reading so much heavy literature for a while. I think I've had my fill of some heavy stuff, but it's all been good. So please go check it out. Please. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.